Hi, Julie Jones from SSP Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training, here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week. And as I look out my window and see it snowing, I am certain that it is softball season. And if you haven't had a chance to watch any of ESPN's coverage, you're missing out. It's a great opportunity, particularly to talk about this pause or panic situation that we're going to be discussing today. I had a great opportunity on Saturday to watch Notre Dame and Clemson. Great game, fourth inning, tied 1-1. Notre Dame's hitter gives up a double, hits a batter. Now Clemson has two runners on, chance to go up and lead the game. And now the Notre Dame pitcher runs the count full. We know that the batter has less than 3 out of 10 opportunity, really. You're like 3 times out of 10, less than that, she's going to get a hit in this situation, right? The statistics are in the pitcher's favor. Almost always it's in the pitcher's favor. But the pitcher in that spot is thinking, the hitter's going to swing at anything close. I can't be too close. I don't want to put it down the middle because too close means 2 runs. So all this stuff goes through a pitcher's head in this mind at this time. The pitcher at Notre Dame literally just stops. She stopped. She turned her back to the plate. She bent down. She picked up dirt. She stood up. She threw the dirt down. She took a deep breath. She relaxed herself, and she turned around to go do her job. I stopped, and I watched it again. I thought, that was perfect. She didn't care if the pitch was ready to come in. She didn't care if the batter was ready to go. She didn't care what her defenders were doing at the time. She was taking a pause. Instead of panicking, she chose to pause. She turned around. She got the sign. She delivered the pitch. Batter out. No runs. 1 hit, 2 left on, score remains 1-1 tie. It was a great, great example of controlling moments or managing moments that then make a difference on what's going to happen next. I know you say, I see kids do that all the time. I do too. But I see more often people, whether they're athletes or colleagues or anybody, run right through, think we have to work harder, think we have to move faster in situations like that under pressure. But it's that pause that can change everything that comes next. It's that reset. I often ask athletes that I work with, do you have a refocus technique? Do you have a habit that you do? Yeah. Well, it's like brushing their teeth. They don't even know what they're thinking while they're doing that. It's not the pause that makes the difference. It's what we're doing, what we're thinking during that time or not thinking. As Amy Kyler, the head coach at Cleveland State, said when she worked for me, yells out to the field, this is no time to start thinking. Now, there are times that we need to reset our thinking or reset our emotions, and that's what this pause does. How many times in your life would a intentional pause have kept you from digging yourself into a deeper hole? I heard something on the way to church on Sunday, and it said, the pastor says this, instead of praying, we move straight to panic. In other words, we get to choose. We don't have to move straight into panic. We can stop. And we can pray or we can pause, whatever it is. Think about how you are when you're in a panic mode. Think about how you are when you're in a prayer mode or a pause mode. Those are 2 completely different yous. And they perform completely differently. The panic you performs in a pretty predictable way. The paused you can decide how you want to perform. So as we think about the difference between panicked me and pause me, I started to think about me. And what I learned as I coached eventually was that when my panic mode or my I go crazy mode shows up, I lose the next play at least. So if that's happening to me with a fully mature brain, don't go there, fully mature we assume, right? We're dealing with 22-year-olds, maybe younger, maybe 13-year-olds, maybe 12-year-olds. Their brain hasn't even grown to full capacity yet. How long does it take them to get back to where they need to be able to be present, to be able to be in that mindful, managing moment state? If you've ever read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, great book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. He says this, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So it's that pause. Something happens, space. We react. Something happened. It didn't go well. I ran the count full. I just gave up a double. I just hit somebody. It's time for me to stop, bend up, get some dirt, throw that down, take a deep breath, turn around and get back to work. That's what the Notre Dame pitcher said or did. Is that what I always did? Absolutely not. But that pause makes the difference. It doesn't matter what we do during that pause. We do have a system. We do something physical. Right? We take a deep breath on a focal point. We have a trigger or a reset word. Then we finish up with a thought, image, or feeling that gets us set and ready to go. But it doesn't even have to be that structured. It could be something as simple as taking a deep breath, looking up, smiling, using the good chemicals that go to your brain when you smile. Turn around and have a specific person that you say something to. It could be something simple. It's not about what we do during the pause. It's about where we are during the pause. The pause is to separate the stimulus and the response. And what happens between there can't be like when we're brushing our teeth and we're just doing it and thinking of a million other things. It has to be intentional and it has to have our attention. Maybe it's a word that we say. It could be something so simple. But the question is, what do we need to do to pause, to separate what happened from what we're going to do next? Pick up the dirt, throw it down, whatever it is that you choose. What do you do? That's the question. What's your pause? Do you need to pause? Do you need to pray before you panic? Or do we run right into panic and just keep going because the harder we work, the more we're going to get done? That's me sometimes. Probably is you at times as well. So the question is, what do you do to pause? What have you practiced that is going to work when you're under pressure? Because the goal is to protect our talent, to protect our performance from us. We stand between us and our best. Very little else stands between us and our best, quite frankly. We can be as good as we want to be if we can figure out how to have a stimulus and then have a response and do something really productive in between those two things. And that is taking a pause or a reset or a refocus or whatever you want to call it. So my question for you this week is, what's your pause? What are the people that are around you? What's their pause? And do they really do it? Even if they say they do it, is that what they do? And when they're doing it, what are they thinking or not thinking? Maybe that's what's the important part. But the question is, how are we going to manage the moments so that we can protect our performance, protect our talent, and go do what we do best? If you'd like me to help your team figure out their pause, email me at juliej@ssbperformance.com. If you'd like to see more tips, ssbperformance.com/blog. Have a great week and manage the moments. Find your pause.